Hi guys, Clara here, and Valentine's Day has snuck up yet again. So why not make a couple froggy charms for the occasion? First, rolling out a green ball into an oval shape that will later become our frog's body. Taking two smaller balls, I'm making the feet by squishing each ball into a triangular shape, then adding two indents for the toes and carrying the line up the foot. Do that again, and you got yourself a couple of feet. Now to make the hands, or the front feet, not really sure which. I use the same method as before, with the only difference being a slightly smaller ball to start with. When both sets are finished, I'm left with two different sizes, and you can see the difference here. Anyway, let's move on to the eyes. I'm adding a small piece of white to a small green ball and smoothing it until all the edges are flush. Then adding a tiny piece of black clay for the pupil. Repeat that for the second eye, and you'll have a pair of googly looking eyes looking back at you. With all of our frog body parts done, let's make the component that turns this regular frog into a Valentine's frog. After rolling out a bright pink clay, I start cutting out the heart shape by first trimming out a triangle, then cutting away little by little until a heart shape emerges. I use my silicone tool to smooth the cut edges and give it a softer look before attaching it to our frog's stomach. Press into place, and the rest of our frog can now come together. I don't know if this looks much like a frog, but I still think it looks cute. Worst case, just call it an alien and say your love is out of this world. Darn, should I have gone with an alien Valentine's theme? Maybe next year. Final step is to insert the eye pin. I pre-poke the clay with a needle, then add a little liquid Sculpey on the eye pin before inserting, which was a great suggestion that I'm glad I remembered. Okay, now into the oven you go, and here is our finished froggy, or alien, or whatever you want to see. For our next froggy charm, I want to see if I can make this one look a little bit more recognizable as a frog. I think making this one more leggy is the key. So let's start by rolling out some tapered hind legs. Another two balls which will be rolled out into the front legs, or arms. Again, I'm not sure and can't be bothered to look it up. I then made the hands/feet, but you don't need to see that again, so let's go straight to assembly. Feet get attached to the legs, and the legs get attached to the body. Same story for the front legs, but these will have the ends blended into the body as smoothly as I can. Though I'm not as skilled at that as I would like to be. Last thing we need for this charm is a heart, of course. Or in this case, two. Be patient with cutting out the heart shapes. It takes a lot of little trims to shape it, but they usually turn out really nice looking. Though I did need to redo a couple of mine, so hey, practice makes perfect. In order to add these hearts to the frog, we want to give them something to lean against. So place a green ball down for each eye, then add the hearts right in front of them. I had to fix the placement of one eye that was a little bit too high, but then all that was left was a smile. I think this one definitely looks more like a frog than the last one, but I still love them both equally. After adding a pin and a quick trip to the oven, our second froggy charm is done. And wouldn't you know it, this frog only has eyes for you. Alright, so this last charm has to be my favorite. It's two peas in a pod, except it's better, because the peas are frogs. And you aren't allowed to say it doesn't make sense. Peas and frogs are both green. End of story. But let's start by rolling out some dark green clay, nice and thin. It needs to be big enough that when you place your two frogs down, that there's plenty of overhang to wrap them up later. And you've seen me cut out enough hearts in this video, so I'm skipping right over that and going straight to attaching them to our frogs. Some little seat adjustments, and let's make some tiny hands to hold these hearts. These are so small, I'm not even going to bother adding any texture. I'm just rolling them out slightly and placing on either side of each heart. And time for eyes. The first frog gets the same googly eyes as before, whereas our other frog has become quite comfortable in his pod, and decided a little nap was just what they need. So I'm adding a line across the ball with my blade to give the appearance of closed eyes for our sleepy friend. And we can't forget to give these happy frogs smiles to match. With our frogs done, I'm now just trimming the ends of our pod so it can fit snugly around our frogs. I start curling the ends up and pressing against the frog's outline to get a nice curved shape. A little extra trim for the top, then that gets pressed into place as well. Once the top and bottom are done, pinch the sides together to close the pod up. The last thing to do is to trim the bottom corners to give the pod a rounder shape. Then the only thing left is to insert the eye pin and send your charm off to the oven. And with that, our frogs in a pod charm is done. Isn't it just the cutest? But let's not forget about these two. Such a cute little family. Which charm was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you. But that's all I have for you today, so I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye!